right, let's get to this. Internet Adjacent uploaded their side of the story regarding Parlo. I know they already had like a Google Doc out that was already summarized by us in the last video, but Internet Adjacent, I guess, is going to talk about it, and I am curious about it.
Hello everyone. This is a very different video than usual. So yeah, obviously this has been a fun past few days for me. If you aren't aware, then I currently have been facing a situation that absolutely exploded. Since everything, at least of mine, has been full blasted on the internet, then I kind of guess shame has gone out of the window, and right now my only concern is to address every single thing I found recently in order to just, like, get the situation done and over with.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, for those of you guys who aren't really caught up on the situation, I did a video on the first part of it, so that should be up already by the time this video goes up. But essentially, the whole gist of it is that Parlo released a series of allegations against Internet Adjacent. They both met up. They were planning to hook up and have sex. Parlo tried to levy some false sexual assault allegations and tried to make it seem like they weren't reciprocating any sexual feelings, but that was just not the case whatsoever. And then these guys wound up hooking up, and Parlo pretty much destroyed his entire reputation with these allegations. And to be fair, I never really liked Parlo, to be honest. I feel like a lot of his content just deletes nuance in, like, every way imaginable. He's, like, more focused on just, like, uploading to the online, like, predator economy, in, like, the most terminally online way possible. Because typically what happens is sometimes you'll get, like, a predator, like a real one, like EDP or someone, or, like, Zoe Laverne, who are, like, actual fucking threats to children. Or, like, David is another one. But then you'll have somebody like Call Me Carson, and then Parlo would make someone like a video on like Call Me Carson and say that's horrible or whatever, and like virtue signal about it. So that's like really why I wasn't a huge fan of Parlo's content, is because he kind of just like removes nuance from the conversation. I'm not really a huge fan of that personally. It seems like the only people that really enjoyed Parlo's content were kids anyways. I don't really think the internet's really losing out on much personally. I think if Parlo just goes offline and works on himself, I don't think he's beyond rehabilitation, but a lot of his content was super harmful, to be honest.
This is the one and only time I'll be talking about this. After this video, I will be moving on and uploading like normal. Jerry is going to get another video or two, but after that, I will be coming back as the host. Recently, the creator Parlo, who I used to be really good friends with, and as I'm sure.
And that's another thing, you know, like, that's a criticism you could levy at Internet Adjacent, is like, why would you be friends with Parlo? Like, I don't know, man. I feel like Parlo is not even a guy I would, like, honestly want to be friends with. He kind of just seems like a bit of an asshole, and he just seems like a bit of an immature person.
There are a lot of people.
But then again, there's a lot of immaturity that goes on in a lot of these online spaces.
People know now a little bit more, has come out with a document on me, and I made a document on him. It's also been probably aware by now that both of us have taken our documents down, which I'll get into later, but I have come here to both debunk everything in this situation that is blatant lies, and actually take accountability for where I have made genuine errors. While I could just...
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess that's fair enough. I mean, this video is like 40 minutes long, so we have a lot to get through.
Sit here and say that I am completely innocent of every single thing, and I'm just a perfect angel. Obviously, that's not true. And I'll own up when needed, because while the mistakes I actually did make aren't, like, career-destroying, it is still definitely something I'm going to have to own up to and just fully admit I did wrong. In regards to the serious allegations, then short answer is no. I haven't really done anything like what people are trying to say I have.
Okay. And I'm not trying to be that guy, Internet Adjacent, but I feel like if you're starting off your video where you're not actually addressing, like, the serious claims, saying, like, sexual assault or whatever, because that's what Parlo was implying, like, sexual assault or whatever, you're being a little bit vague. People are going to be turned off by that, just from, like, a perception standpoint, like, from an optics standpoint. I don't think Internet Adjacent is really that in the wrong based on what I've seen. They probably made a couple of mistakes, but overall, I don't think what they did was as bad as what Parlo did, where Parlo literally tried to leverage a false sexual assault allegation.
But in terms of a lot of the other things, there are mistakes I have genuinely made throughout the situation that I'm going to address here. I will be returning to content as normal, but I feel like this video is necessary to move forward. A lot of people have been asking me for this video for a while, and I've been saying the whole time, just be a little patient. I don't want to rush anything like this, because this determines what I do going forward. So there's a lot for us to cover, but I figured we would just start with all the serious allegations and go from there. There's going to be timestamps, so If there's a specific section you want to look at, then you can just go and find which section you want to watch. In regards to the Anthrocon furry convention thing, I'll be talking about that in full at the end of this video, but in regards to every other serious accusation, I'm going to cover those one at a time. So let's start off with the big one. One of the first claims of the document that Parlo made is that he felt like he was coerced into having sex with me.
Yeah, we know that this is not true because Parlo was very clearly like consenting to everything that was going on. Very clearly so. It does not sound like sexual coercion or whatever. When I think of sexual coercion, I generally think of, hey, you know, we have a power dynamic, and if you don't have sex with me, I will fucking send harassment after your family or something. Like, obviously, Internet Adjacent doesn't do anything like that. That would be like a form of like what would make it predatory, and that's like a form of coercion. Like coercion is like actual force, just to be clear.
Felt like he had to say yes to me out of fear of what would happen if I said no. That he never felt like he was in a position to say no. We're gonna go into specific instances that were brought up, but the main thing to highlight is how Parlo behaved during the situation. Parlo said in his original doc, as well as on live streams, that he actually has a problem saying no, and that oftentimes, even if he wasn't wanting to do something, he'll still do it just to please the other person.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think I brought this up in my last video, but, like, generally speaking, whenever there's, like, any sort of, like, I don't know, like, if you've ever been in, like, a real relationship, or if you've ever been, like, dating somebody, typically speaking, sometimes you'll have sex with someone, even if you're not, like, fully up for it, you know, like, sometimes you'll do it, you'll be like, yeah, all right, I'll have sex with you or whatever. You still consented, right? However, if you say no plenty of times and then they, like, keep pressuring you and being a sex pest and like, being like, sex with me, have sex with me, have sex with me, until eventually you're like, yeah, I'll do it. All right, geez. That's not what consent is either. Like, if you're pressuring them after they've said no a million times, that's not what consent is either, generally speaking.
He goes on to say that he tried to use his body language in order to let me down instead of just telling me no. This is why if you look at the DMs, he is constantly going along with everything and saying he's totally fine with everything. It's also why during the recountings of what happened, the same thing is being said. I've constantly said that Parlo said yes in almost every single one of our encounters. And when he actually told me no to stuff, I backed off. And
I think one thing I'm really confused about this entire thing is what is the motivation for Parlo? Like, why did Parlo feel the need to go public with this? I don't understand. Like, that's, like, the part that still confuses me. Was, like, Parlo... Was it, like, a bad sexual experience and he didn't like doing it with Internet Adjacent, so he came out about it or something like that? Or did he feel like he did something really awful and he felt the need to control the narrative before Internet Adjacent did?
Didn't pressure him. In regards to using your body language and shit in order to tell me he wasn't down, this is in general just not a good way to handle things. A lot of people have been saying this to a large degree, as in doing so, you're just kind of banking on the fact that the other person picks up on things like these. But if you're in a situation like this where you're not comfortable or you're not wanting to do something and you're trying to be subtle, if your subtlety doesn't work, it is your responsibility to just tell the other person how you feel. You cannot blame the other person for not picking up on your subtlety. I'm sorry, that's just not how that works.
Yeah, no, it's not. I agree. It's like you have to be very comfortable about, like, sexual, like, you know, you have to be comfortable setting hard boundaries. Like, at the end of the day, you both are adults, right? If people are like, I have trouble saying no or whatever, well, you have to get better at it. Like, just to be clear, right? Like, you have to set, like, more firm boundaries with the other person, because how do you expect the other person to pick up on, like, subtle cues that they're not reciprocating?
In my case specifically,
I also don't believe that Parlo wasn't reciprocating. I wouldn't doubt that there was probably, like, a level of uncomfortableness, maybe, if it's, like, their first time, like, trying to, like, hook up or whatever. I wouldn't doubt that there's, like, a level of it that's, like, super uncomfortable, but I highly doubt that they were, quote-unquote, not reciprocating. Get the fuck out of here. Like, the Discord messages literally say otherwise. I don't believe that for a second.
As a lot of people have said, I kind of struggle to pick up on body language. Some people have actually asked if I'm autistic, and I do not have any confirmed diagnosis yet, but I will say I have actually scheduled an appointment for that, and I will post the results when I get them. Once again, this isn't exactly something I want to share online, but I'm unfortunately forced into that situation. But yeah, not everyone is able to pick up on subtle body language, and I myself struggle to do so, as has been confirmed by a lot of the people who were personally there. This is why my main point in my original document was that Parlo was telling me yes constantly, because I didn't pick up on the cues he was trying to send. Another thing I would like to highlight before we even move forward is that Parlo is changing his positions constantly in the situation.
Yeah, I picked up on that as well.
In his document, he said nothing criminal happened. In private, he was telling people he was sexually assaulted. Now,
Yeah, no, that's literally what he was implying in the public document as well. He never explicitly said sexual assault, but that was the implication.
publicly on Twitter, he's saying it was all alleged. I usually understand why people covering allegations use the term allegedly when it comes to criminal actions. It's because they don't know what happened, so for legal reasons, they have to say that, or else they could get in legal trouble. Why on earth would you put allegedly in front of allegations that you are making? Like, could you imagine going to a police station or reporting a crime and saying, yeah, you know, allegedly my neighbor broke into my house and robbed me, when you're like literally the only person to see anything? It makes zero fucking sense. With all that out of the way, let's unfortunately get into the actual scenarios. If you cringed the first time going through this entire situation, it's not going to get much better. If anything, we're on a downhill slope. So,
oh boy, I mean, I'm ready for it. Let's get to it.
the first night we decided to do oral in the bedroom. Parlo has claimed that I pressured him.
It do be like that. Sometimes oral just sucks. You know, sometimes the person giving oral, I mean, they're doing their best. They think they're doing their best, but they're just, they're not hitting any of the right spots. It happens.
Him by pulling out and taking a condom out of the wrapper. I pulled the condom out in the wrapper. Yes, that is what I did. But I didn't open it. I asked if he wanted to do stuff, to which he said sure, and then I pulled the condom out of the wrapper. And almost immediately after I did this, he changed his mind. And we didn't end up doing anything, so...
Okay, that's interesting. So it seems like Parlo might have lied about that. I mean, generally speaking, I'm going to gravitate to more of what Internet Adjacent says more than Parlo, because Parlo has, like, verifiably changed their story and lied about stuff and sensationalized parts of their story. And they've also done it in the past with other stories as well. I don't particularly think Parlo is a reliable person when it comes to retelling of information. So I really can't trust his retelling of it. Generally speaking, I'm going to gravitate more towards Internet Adjacent side of it. Is it possible that Internet Adjacent could be lying? Maybe. It's possible. But I generally think Internet Adjacent has a little more credibility than Parlo does.
The wrapper was put on a shelf where it remained for the entire time. Parlo has, for some reason, included a photo censored of the condom in the fucking Google Doc. Oh, we're going to be seeing a lot of that, by the way. So, like I said, this is your cringe warning. I asked that if he didn't want to do that, if he was down to use a dildo that I had brought along, which, yes, we're going to talk about...
It's okay, dude. To be honest with you, like, it does kind of suck that, like, Internet Adjacent feels like they have to respond to this. When they mentioned the autism diagnosis earlier, I gotta be honest, I don't think that's something you have to, like, fucking... share online. Like, I get Internet Adjacent's young. Internet Adjacent's like 21 years old. But I don't think that's something that you have to share online. You don't have to, like, bring up any of these, like, things of, like, oh, the dildo, you know, or, oh, the, I guess I don't know what he's about to bring up, but, like, the autism thing, right? Like, that, like, even if people know about the autism information, like, what do you expect people to do with it, right? Like, what are we supposed to take away from that? I don't think you have to take away, or I don't think you have to share that information online if you don't want to. I don't think people are forcing you to do that specifically. I think people would be more invested in, like, the actual allegations and the story specifically, because I don't think whether or not you have autism really pertains to the importance of the story.
Which, God damn it, I don't even know how to talk about this. Yes, it is the Cinderella, which we're going to talk about later. That's a little bit more of the goofy side of this whole thing.
It's incredible, man. Hey, man, listen, we've all been there. I think everybody has, like, a bit of a kink. As long as everybody's a consenting adult, it's totally chill. It seems like everybody was, though. I think Parlo is, like, a year younger than Internet Adjacent is, so it's like, okay, I mean, that's fine.
Now, he said yes. Something Parlo even says in his document that he did just to satisfy me, meaning even though he didn't want to, he told me he was down to do it. Even though he could have said no, and I would have had zero problem with, which we'll see examples of later, but what do I fucking know? He also included a part about how I asked if we could film. For some reason, he's trying to say that this is just a me thing, like this is just a weird thing I do. No, that's Parlo's thing.
Interesting, okay. Oh, by the way, my tripod arrives today. Wonder what the tripod will be used for. leave me gaping and shaking on end on the camera. Make me gape on the camera. Oh my god.
He's into that. It's not just something I randomly brought up. God, I fucking hate this. As for the fingering, yes, that is in my script. I received consent to do that. This is the biggest case of he said, she said, but I'm going to stand on this till the end of the time that, yeah, I received consent to do this. I have said that since the very beginning. I'm going to say that till the very end because that is what happened.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. I mean, generally speaking, I'm going to, like, generally take Internet Adjacent's word for it. Like I said, I feel like Internet Adjacent has more credibility than Parlo does, but yeah, okay. I mean, fair enough. I mean, there's not going to be, like, enough that you can get to disprove that because a lot of it is going to be he said, she said.
The second day is one that shoots a hole in Parlo's entire I was scared of what would happen if I said no. Because in the DMs, he tells me that no, he's not willing to do anything tonight.
Okay. Do you still want to try topping? I could, but I'm stressy about it. I don't know if I'll be able to stay hard. You could try some tonight. I kind of want to blow you. Okay. Fair enough.
To which I say, okay. And then
I was just like skimming through that. Do you want me to walk you to the station? I can't take the train. It's too late. Train stop at 12. Ah, shit. I have to take the Uber now. Ah, damn. If there is a problem, just stay online, I guess.
The most
okay,
I do is offer to walk him to the train station because, as I've been told by a lot of other people, we were basically in, like, the Chicago of London. Like, it looked like you'd walked outside and just get stabbed. I kissed him before he left, and that was about it. I didn't pursue him sexually after. He said he didn't want to do anything, and I said, all right, we don't have to.
Oh, that's sweet. How lovely.
So his whole argument of I was scared of what he'd do if I said no. I mean, in what instance in this or any situation prior did he say no and then I crashed out on him? I mean, in his recounting of the first date, he says I gave him the illusion of choice. What am I, fucking Mysterio? Am I just creating illusions for you? No. I said, we don't have to do anything tonight. I would prefer if we did, but at the end of the day, it's entirely up to you. That is your...
Yeah, and I think that's, like, very common in relationships, generally speaking. Like, I feel like that's a really common thing, where people will, you know, sometimes, like, a guy... It's usually the guy who wants to, like, have sex with the woman, and then, like, it's disappointing. It can be a woman sometimes. I've been with some girls who, like, are disappointed. They're like, they want to do something sexual, and then I say, like, nah, not tonight. I'm not really feeling it. And then they, like, get, like, a little disappointed by it, you know? Like, but it's usually it's guys who do it. And so, like, sometimes it like, there's, like, a level of disappointment, but they're not gonna, like, pursue further. And, like, that's, like, very normal, generally speaking, in relationships. I don't know if people are gonna understand that in a lot of these online spheres, because I feel like a lot of people in a lot of online communities don't really understand how relationships work, and they kind of just like look at one extreme end of the spectrum or another. There's no room for any like conversation from any of it.
Chance. You are given the golden opportunity to say no. That is your chance. If you do not want to do anything, that is where you tell me I don't want to do anything. And you did the second day. You said I don't want to do anything, and we didn't do anything. So this whole like I didn't have the chance to say no. You absolutely did. I gave you multiple instances. It's just a completely unfounded claim that he pulled out of his ass, and this is like the prime example of that. I constantly told him I wouldn't want to make him do something he wouldn't be cool with. Constantly. He also tries to say that I kissed him as like some sort of apology or some shit like that. No, I kissed you because I was into you. This shit didn't have a double meaning. It's not like your fucking English assignment where it's like read through the lines. And now, with that, we're on to the third day. This seems to be the most...
Hey, man. Listen, I've had my own series of allegations where, like, people will apply things. Like, I don't know. Like messages I sent to the person that accused me on my old account was, like, pretty much saying, like, oh, you know, there was, like, a double meaning. He was, like, being manipulative or whatever. He was trying to manipulate me. And I'm like, no. It was actually, if you just read the actual words that's being said... It's exactly what it sounds like. It's not like there's a double meaning behind anything. It's like, I hate when people fucking purposely misconstrue and like try to deceive other people by like applying a double meaning onto something and trying to make it seem something when it very obviously is not that way. It's very frustrating when people do that. And then there's nothing you could do about it because people buy into it, because people online are just very stupid and they don't want to apply brain power to anything because they just want to like look good in front of everybody.
contested of all the days in terms of what actually happened.
It's a frustrating position to be in when you try to like actually like provide legitimate context to something and like people don't care or want to listen because they're so focused on optically looking good. It's purely optics at the end of the day. It's really just, it's an optics thing.
Unfortunately, like a lot of the rest of the situation, there's really zero evidence for either side, so all I can do is share my recounting of the events. We were supposed to go out to a club later that night, but me and Parlo talked about having sex before then. I asked when he would want to do that, before or after we went out to the club, and he said before. I'm someone who likes to have a schedule set up and likes to have a clear pattern of where things are happening, so I was trying to figure out when we were going to do that. After asking Parlo, he told me he wanted to play Minecraft and work on his pyro dock for a bit, but that he still wanted to have sex that night before the club. I walked in and out of the bedroom because my phone was in the bedroom charging, and it was the only outlet that worked, yet I still wanted to hang out with my friends in the other room, so I was going in and out of the bedroom. I would say when I was going in and out of there, but it was just to let them know. Parlo is saying the only reason I possibly did this was to peer pressure him, which is just wrong. Was I hoping at one point he came in there with me? I mean, yeah, like a little bit. But to say I was like...
Yeah, man, we've all been there. We've all had that like little bit of gooner fantasy happen. It is what it is.
Fucking peacock trying to allure him in there is just like false. That wasn't my pure intention at all. That was...
Yeah, so it really does seem like Parlo just like misrepresented everything that fucking happened here. It's actually like really, wow, that's got to be so frustrating for internet adjacent.
The only working outlet for my phone, so I literally had to go in and out of the room. Eventually we went in there and had sex. After that, we were trying to figure out who would take a shower first. Unfortunately, because he spent so long dicking around on Minecraft and working on the pyro dock while we're supposed to be on vacation, we only had less than an hour before, so I suggested we take a shower together.
Oh, is it the Pyrocynical video he made that, like, I heard a lot of people weren't really a fan of that Pyrocynical video. I added it to the list of things that I wanted to watch because I thought maybe there's like something here. And I guess in a weird way, I'm kind of glad I didn't because, like, then Parlo, like, got involved in whatever the fuck this was. I mean, generally speaking, I never really prioritized it because I'm not really a huge fan of Parlo regardless.
Something he agreed to. Although now is trying to say that I forced my way into the room with him, which is just flat out false. Parlo and Avalon both left later. When they came back, Parlo said he felt like I peer pressured him, and as I later found out on Dicker's live stream, Parlo recorded me and Avalon privately without our consent.
Like, start of the thing. Oh, for goodness sake, my fucking flashlight's not working. I just felt kind of pressured to do stuff for you because I didn't want to make you feel upset if I didn't do anything.
You can tell me no when it comes to that stuff. You don't have to.
I know, but I felt afraid that if saying no would just piss you off because I spent about 1,000 on that ticket. But I mean, I was just saying things that was.
I even told you we don't have to do stuff until December if you want.
I mean, I tried not to necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So this audio literally does just add more credibility to Internet Adjacent's narrative because, like, he keeps, like, it seems like there were multiple instances where Internet Adjacent was, like, trying to, like, reassure Parlo that, like, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. We don't have to do stuff if you don't want to. It's totally chill. But instead, like, Parlo is just, like, doing this, like, weird game where it's like, oh, no, but he did so-and-so to me or whatever. He did this, this, and this to me. And it really is just, like, a very weird, deceptive game that, like, Parlo is playing. And, like, it's so weird. Because, like, why are you recording Internet Adjacent without his consent? Why are you? And the only reason I can come to is because Parlo was hoping that Internet Adjacent would say something incriminating enough to the point where Parlo could be like, I could use that against him. I could use this against him. Maybe Parlo was worried that, like, Internet Adjacent would be like, I'm sorry I did that to you or whatever, and maybe, like, he was hoping that he would cave in, so Parlo could turn around and be like, oh, yeah, no, he admitted to it, he was apologizing to it, he admitted to all these horrible things. That's my theory. Like, that's kind of what that reads to me as.
I told you we can wait if we wanted. Which, you know, listen, you're allowed to record calls in, like, Discord or some shit if it's, like, an online thing. But it's kind of dicey when you do it in real life. Like, when it comes to legality, I'm not so sure about how that works. But, I don't know. I'm not going to moral about it. But
whoa! Jesus Christ! Oh my god! I cannot have that in the YouTube video. You gotta... I'm censoring that. Like, listen, I get that, like, I'm pretty sure Internet Adjacent's bisexual, right? I know that this is, like, proving that they are at the very least bisexual, but I'm pretty sure they're either bi or they're gay to some capacity, but like I still cannot have slurs in my video. That's crazy, dude.
The reason why this matters is because it proves that from the very start that my story has remained consistent this entire time, whether it be publicly where I know it's being recorded or privately where I don't know it's being recorded. My story has been consistent from day fucking one, from second one. Also, Parlo has said he never intended for the situation to go public. Then why did you record me that night? You've been very against going to the police with this situation, so what other reason would you have for recording this? You seem to try to say me talking to commentary YouTubers is the catalyst for this, but I don't think that's really true at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know that Dickers did like a couple of streams trying to get like Parlo's side or whatever, and like they did a couple calls. I'm not gonna watch like two 4-hour streams to try to get to the bottom of this. I'm not that invested in this drama, or I guess these allegations. I generally I watched Vaulted's video that summarized it, and Internet Adjacent is uploading his side of it, so I was interested to at least hear out Internet Adjacent's side within this video. That's very easy to digest, I would say. I mean, it's like a 40-minute video that's not that difficult to digest. But yeah, no, that's pretty much what I said about Parlo's recording of that.
I think you were going to do something. Parlo has now stated the allegations are alleged, and I will say his response document has leaked. I'm pretty sure Guamgo posted it, and other people sent it to me. He brings up this whole thing, but just says that I'm getting an autism diagnosis, which is the only mention of that entire thing that he has.
I really don't think you need to share your autism diagnosis. If you want to get an autism diagnosis, that's fine. You do you. But I really don't think that it's smart for Internet Adjacent to share that online. I feel like you could just keep that to yourself if you really want to. I don't think that's necessary for your response. Generally speaking, for the most part, I think Internet Adjacent is a lot more credible, and it's pretty clear to me that there was no sexual assault that happened in this story. Even from Parlo's own account from it, there was no sexual assault. It seems like this was an uncomfortable experience. I don't know what Parlo's motivation is. Even now, I'm still struggling to understand why Parlo tried to come out with this and why they were trying to control this narrative. I really don't understand that.
Listen, no, I did not sexually assault Parlo. I feel like most people have realized that, at the very least, this was just an awkward hookup that one person regretted afterwards.
Yeah, that's kind of what that reads to me as.
There are parts of this accusation and the whole entire trip that I skipped that we'll be talking about later, but no, I did not sexually assault Parlo. I feel like most people have come to that conclusion. But obviously, this isn't the only accusation. As is usual with Parlo, he filled his document with a lot of bullshit. I mean, compare our documents. Mine was just about the sexual assault allegations and the GoFundMe stuff, which we're going to talk about that in a bit too. Parlo made 50 different accusations. I mean, almost all of them are bullshit. There's a lot of people coming out of the woodwork too to make other accusations, but those are also just bullshit as well. So let's just keep going. Another very serious accusation and very false accusation is grooming. So some people, for whatever reason...
So, wait, I didn't even know if that was originally part of the story. Oh, I remember. Was this the, I guess, whatchamacallit, the 17-year-old that Internet Adjacent might have talked to when they were 21, even though they only did sexual stuff after they turned 18, so it would have been a 3-year, 5-month age gap. Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, if they did do anything sexual when Internet Adjacent was 21 and the younger person was 17, I don't really think that's good. I feel like that's not a good thing at all. Shouldn't normalize that, but also I'm not really going to shit myself over it. I mean, generally speaking, that would be considered legal in most of the United States because it would be within Romeo and Juliet laws. I don't think it's good. I don't think we should normalize 17 and 21, but I also am not gonna shit my pants over. I don't think it's a predatory age gap, something can be weird without it being predatory, and I don't think that would be a predatory, even the worst case scenario.
Are trying to push the accusation right now that I'm a groomer. Not only am I confused on where this accusation is coming from, but even the person I allegedly groomed, Avalon, is not on board with this allegation. And Parlo wasn't originally until his channel got terminated. That's right, I've been told...
Oh, yeah, I first thought, Parlo deleted his own channel because they were, leaving the internet. But it seems like Parlo, just, had people, hack into I think someone hacked into Parlo's account and then like posted a bunch of porn on it and then like got his channel fucking deleted or whatever.
Behind the scenes that Parlo was planning on not even including this when this whole thing went public, but also that people have told him to drop this behind the scenes and he considered it. But after his channel got terminated, he just went ahead and decided to call me a pedophile or something. So yeah, now we have to respond to that. It's not just that, but there's like...
Well, pedophilia would be like if Internet Adjacent was attracted to people that were like 13 and under, so I'd be curious to see if that claim is even true.
Zero evidence for anything related to grooming in this
I highly doubt it, but yeah.
scenario. There's zero evidence for anything related to this claim in general. As far as I've seen, this whole thing just seems...
Well, the only thing that people cited was that, like, Internet Adjacent maybe was, like, talking with, like, a 17-year-old and then waited for them to turn 18 to then do sexual stuff with them, which, like, what... Like, even if that was the case, I don't care. I actually just, like, don't give a shit. Like, you know, 21 and 18, like, they're within, like, closer to a 3-year age gap, so it's like, I'm not really shitting my pants over it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really not that big of a deal. And, like, I don't know, man. Like, at that point, you're a legal adult anyways, so, like, you have some level of agency over yourself. You are allowed to stick up for yourself and, like, learn boundaries.
To be a rumor started from Parlo. The entire grooming claim is just downright false. I have been friends with Avalon for a very long time, and at no point had I ever been sexual or romantic towards him, nor was he that way towards me. We were never like that. It wasn't until after he turned 18 that Avalon started coming on to me and offering the idea of a three-way between me, him, and Parlo. This is proven in the DMs from before the situation even happened. And while I was hesitant at first due to the nature of our friendship, I also thought it was just very morally ambiguous. I didn't know if this was like okay or not. Avalon said he didn't see a problem with it multiple times, so I eventually figured there was nothing wrong with it. At most...
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, like I said, I wouldn't even care even if it was true, because it doesn't sound like grooming. I mean, grooming is a very insidious process of setting typically a child up for typically sexual exploitation, and this would not, even if this was true, even if you, like, sexted with, like, a 17-year-old at 21, I wouldn't really call that grooming. I'd call it inappropriate. I'm not a fan of it, personally. That's kind of yucky to me, but... You know, also, it's not predatory. It's not like one of those things where it's like, hey, that should follow you forever, you know? It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, not good. Don't do that again.
The three of us discussed this whole thing, but Avalon's partner wasn't cool with it, so we didn't end up actually doing anything. This is not grooming. This is not pedophilia. It is so fucking far away from that. The most you can say...
Well, no, pedophilia is like... If you look at the DSM-5 definition of pedophilia... You know, the pedophile has to be 16 or older, the age gap has to be 5 or more years, and the victim has to be 13 or under. Like, pedophilia is specifically for prepubescent children. Like, I feel like that word gets thrown online so much as, like, a buzzword, just as, like, a gotcha, because, like, morally speaking, pedophiles are, like, the worst of the worst in the world. And as they should be, just to be clear, they should be seen that way. But, like, people take advantage of that and, like, try to use it as a buzzword online to make it seem like someone seems so much worse than they actually are. And the word online just doesn't really mean anything anymore.
Is it's weird and reckless of me. That is literally like the deepest this can go. I find it hilarious how Parlo is saying I groomed Avalon though, when he was ecstatic to have a three-way with the two of us.
That's crazy. Oh my god, Parlo really wanted to control the narrative so badly. Holy fuck, what was Parlo so afraid of? I still don't know to this day what Parlo was afraid of. What was Parlo actually afraid of? That, like, because, like, clearly Parlo wouldn't just do this for no reason. What was Parlo so afraid of when it came to, like, all the just, like, lying in their allegations? Like, why?
In fact, actually, I'm going to read a DM Parlo sent me around the time we were discussing it, a day after we made that group chat. I asked Zillow if he got the go-ahead from... Okay, I feel bad a little bit, though, because I don't know how complex this all could be, and I wouldn't want to do anything unless they explicitly asked, because... If it's between you and him, I wouldn't want to intrude on that. It's just that I'd love to be a part of it if they are all fine. You know, for someone who's saying I groomed this guy and I'm like a pedophile or something, certainly very eager.
Even if it was true, it's not pedophilia.
To join in when you liked me. If I thought someone was a groomer, I wouldn't be trying to have fucking three-ways with them, Parlo. That's retarded.
Whoa! You can't say that word, internet adjacent. That's too much. That's your most damning allegation, is saying slurs.
After Parlo made this accusation, I actually went to Avalon and others in our friend circle to genuinely figure out what the fuck is going on, to which Avalon has said that he doesn't agree with this claim or think I'm a groomer. Same with others in our circle. They also said that they've never gotten any of that. Like, they've never even suspected anything like that is going on. Like I said, Parlo made this claim, but was going to drop it after Avalon put pressure on him, but is now using it again because Parlo has the biggest victim complex in the world. So if people don't believe I'm a rapist, because why the fuck would they? This guy's been lying.
I mean, Parlo was literally trying to run this... Like, I saw a video Parlo made earlier this year on this guy named Potimer, who was like a 16-year-old that was trying to, like, go after a 12-year-old. Now... that's the Potimer situation. Now, I don't think what Potimer did was appropriate. 16 and 12 is really gross, and that's not appropriate. But, like, I doubt that Potimer is, like, a threat to society. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, it's one of those things where it's, like, it doesn't quite hit the mark of pedophilia yet, and the reason why is because it would be considered a behavioral problem. It's still inappropriate and very gross, shouldn't be happening, but this is a failure of the parents on both parties, and in the real world, the parents of both parties would make sure that this would not be happening, because it's an inappropriate interaction completely, right? It's a complete behavioral problem and a failure of the parents to do anything about it.
Out of his ass.
Not having some weird fucking drama slop Roblox YouTuber make a video on it for the entire world to see, because now the internet's never going to let him live it down.
Then I have to be a pedophile. All because he's mad his channel is gone. And that's because he has no one else to blame for his channel being terminated. He can't...
I feel like this whole thing is, like... I feel like part of this is terminally... It's hard to say it's terminally online because it happened in real life. So, like, there's, like, a huge part of it, like, because there's sexual assault allegations and everything. But it's, like, Parlo's brain is just so... He is so unbelievably terminally online. Like, Parlo is the kind of person that grew up on the internet. He grew up with morals that he got from the internet. And then he got famous with his Roblox channel, like, doing just, like, toxic predator content online. And then he just, like, stopped, like, maturing. He stopped he stopped growing as a person. Because he was just hanging around in spheres that were surrounded by kids, or the maturity of kids. And so now he just, like, throws around these buzzwords, even though they mean literally fucking nothing to anybody.
Blame Mugen because the guy's a fucking nobody. He can't blame Cormanx because that guy's off the internet. He can't blame Guamgo because that'd be a fucking disaster. So I just have to be the villain. So yeah, this entire fucking grooming claim is just retarded.
Whoa!
It's just entirely not true at all. There was also
Yeah, I mean, listen, even with the proof that I saw, like in Vaulted's video that I originally watched, it was like so... Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like people are just so quick to have their pitchforks and their torches out, and they, like, go after people for, like, these, like, very, like, things that, like, really we don't need to, like, they see 17 and then they just lose their fucking minds, right? What, is a 17 and 18-year-old a problem too? 17, 19-year-old as well? Like, how does the internet think about these things? Like, how do kids on the internet actually believe in these morals? Like, you'll chastise a fucking 18-year-old for going out with a 17 or a 16-year-old, but then the moment that 18-year-old decides to hook up with someone older, despite being a legal adult, you'll fucking infantilize them and say that they're incapable of consenting. It's so weird. It's like such backwards logic. People are so stupid. People are such idiots when they speak up about social issues. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They just want to seem like the good. Everybody is more focused on seeming like the good guy instead of actually like looking into situations, instead of actually like trying to talk about these situations. It's like people are so stupid. It's so dumb. Like, actually, like, chill out, all right? Like, we don't need to, like, throw out grooming or pedophile claims at, like, internet adjacent, even if these claims are true. Again, I don't think 1721's appropriate, but, like, I really, like, even if it was true, we don't need to, like, go to that immediately. We gotta just look at that and be like, hey, that's not good. Don't do that. That's, like, a very inappropriate thing to be doing, right? We don't need to, like, come at it with this disproportionate energy. Like, save that word for people like EDP or Jeffrey Epstein or something. Or, like, a fucking... It's like, this isn't, like, some fucking Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein trafficking operation, all right? Like, we don't need to, like, just be normal. Be normal, please.
An incident where I invited Avalon to the OpBlock server when he was 17, but He wasn't allowed in because the server was 18 plus.
Oh, you hang around like the spaces with op block. Those people like tried to cancel Cameron F305 as well for a very like similar allegation as well. And I'm just like, okay, that makes sense. If those are the spheres that you're hanging around in, that, you know what I mean? Like that makes sense.
I invited him there because
I guess that kind of like checks out why people are so fucking terminally online about this.
wants to be a manager for a lot of YouTubers. So
Like, listen, I like the op block is generally speaking, I don't really like their take, or as well as anyone adjacent to them on their take of the Cameron F305 situation. Not a huge fan of it. People like think Cameron F305 is like a pedophile or whatever, and I just don't agree with that. I feel like they're just factually wrong about that. But I mean, what are you gonna do? It's like I don't know. There's a reason I don't talk to like commentary adjacent spaces, or there's a reason I don't fucking like go like hang out in these spaces. Like it gets very toxic. Like people are very weird in those spaces.
I figured I could invite him to a server with multiple creators so he could potentially rub elbows. When Avalon joined, he was put in the verification channel, and when I asked the owner if he was allowed in, they said it was only 18 plus, so I told Avalon he had to leave. People are trying to spin this as me wanting to put a minor in an 18 plus space, but the reality is I just wasn't...
That doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would you tell Avalon to leave then? If it was an 18 plus space, you gotta be like, hey, Avalon, you can't be here.
aware of the age requirement for the server when I invited him. He never got past the verification channel, and I mean, the Opblock server isn't like porn. It's not like sex or anything, so I didn't assume it was 18 plus. Is that a little reckless? I mean, sure, but like, people are saying it's malicious. It's really not. And I feel like I did everything in that situation. I found out the server was 18 plus and he wasn't allowed to join, so I told him he couldn't get in. I didn't fucking beg.
Go outside more. Everybody here in this situation, everybody involved in this situation, just go outside more, please. Stop like giving this situation the energy that you guys are giving it. Like, go outside more. I'm telling you, people in the real world don't act this disproportionately. Like, I'm telling you now, like, right now. These spaces, like, this is terminally online. Like, listen, I'm a little bit terminally online, too, but I'm not this terminally online. Like, this is fucking crazy.
The owner to let him in. I didn't get on my hands and knees. I didn't have a fucking...
It's like, try to explain to somebody in the real world, like, this entire situation, right? And, like, when they laugh, understand that's my reaction.
4-hour call, go like, please let him in, please, dear Lord, let him in. No, I found out the server was 18 plus and I told him he had to go.
That makes sense.
Personally, to me, the whole framing of the situation is crazy. Anytime people bring this up, they only say the server was...
I mean, like I said, if they did anything together, it would have been when Avalon was 18 anyway, so it doesn't, like, none of this matters, like, anyways, regardless. Again, even in, like, the worst case scenario, right? Even in the worst case scenario, it's still not, like, the fucking energy that people are coming at this with. When will you respond to Cloudy? Why did you try to get Avalon, who was 17 at the time, into... Oh, yeah. Okay, it's just random comments.
Which sounds like you're talking about a pornography server. When in reality, they're just talking about a drama server that doesn't allow anyone under 18. You may ask why this matters, and it's purely because of the connotation this allegation has.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. When people think of 18 plus, they generally think, oh, there's NSFW here, or oh, there's porn here, right? So that makes sense.
Wolfgang invited a 17-year-old...
Because sometimes what content creators will do is they'll have in the rules of their server, oh, hey, you know, this place is just 18 plus, you know, no minors allowed. That's generally a good boundary to set with a lot of content creators because, like, a lot of content creators, especially ones in their mid to late 20s or 30s or, like, who are grown-ass people, there's no need to have minors in your spaces, right? Like, generally speaking. Now, you can't control everybody in your audience who watches. Sometimes you're going to have minors that watch your content, and there's not really much you can do to control that. But you can control some of the Discord servers that you're in, right? Or the ones that you're running. And that's generally like what they would care about. And I mean, it's a good boundary to set, generally speaking. They have no business talking to minors.
To an 18 plus server sounds way worse than Wolfgang invited a 17-year-old to a drama server that didn't allow minors. But guess which one people have been spreading around? It's the one that gets them more content. That's the one they're spreading. I mean, just lay the situation out. I invited someone to a server, was told he couldn't join, so I told him to leave. That's the extent of this allegation. I'm sorry, if you think this is a massive thing, I think you have a massive thing growing on the side of your head.
Yeah. Or you probably spend too much time online. It seems like a lot of people just need to, like, go outside with these, like, allegations. A lot of people involved in this, just go outside a little more. Touch some grass. Read a book. Be productive. Like, get a job, maybe. Be productive to society. I don't know, dude.
Speaking of, there's a claim going around that me and Parlo invited Avalon to a group chat and sent him NSFW when he was underage, which is just entirely false. I've actually seen people like Lio Convoy push this, which, I mean, I don't know what I expected, but let me just really quickly say, Avalon turned 18 in September, and the group chat was made in October after he came on to me. So no, this claim's just entirely false. And yet,
I mean, again, personally, I wouldn't care if the claim was true that much. I mean, I'd say it's inappropriate. I'd be like, listen, Internet Adjacent, don't do that. That's wrong. But that's not like a condemnation of Internet Adjacent's entire character. It's not like we're going to hold this over your head forever because you're a violent predator. It's not predatory. It's inappropriate. You shouldn't do it. Like, you definitely, I don't agree with it, and you shouldn't do it. But, like, come on, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, let's be proportionate and just be normal about it.
people have literally pushed this without any evidence. That says a lot about you, I'll just say that. Like I said, this whole grooming claim just seems pulled out of nowhere. Avalon himself has said multiple times that he does not agree with this claim, which, funnily enough, we were supposed to work with Parlo to just entirely figure out how to just drop this claim from the entire story. And by the way, it's not just the reason why Avalon hasn't publicly or privately confirmed this claim is true, because he doesn't believe it, but it's also part of the reason he is currently helping me debunk the entire claim. Who do you think I've been going to make sure this entire thing has been, like, good? I've constantly asked Avalon, like, did you think I was, like, grooming you at any point? Did you think I was ever inappropriate to you? I've been constantly making sure that I didn't put him in a situation like that. And he's never once said that he felt like I groomed him. He hasn't said that to me. He hasn't said that to anyone else around us. This is a claim Parlo is making. And ironically, this claim is fucking Parlo over, because if this is grooming, then Parlo would also be guilty of that. Parlo doesn't realize that if he keeps pushing this allegation, then he's a pedophile. Which, listen, man, the police are already investigating you. You don't need to give them more ammunition.
Isn't like Parlo a year younger than you? So like Parlo would have been like 20 at the time when Avalon was 17. That age gap I don't care about. Like Jenner, I don't care about like 3-year age gaps. I would say 3-year age gaps are the highest I would go when it comes to like somebody within that like age range. I would say 3 years is generally speaking as far as I would go. That's why I think the Cameron F305 allegations were fucking just like nonsense. They're very convoluted though. They're very confusing to like go through. Like when I went over them on the channel, it fucking fried my brain because of how confusing the Cameron F305 allegations were. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people just attach labels to just like literally for no reason. I feel like people just attach the word like pedophile, and it's like, just to be clear, pedophiles aren't for 17-year-olds. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, pedophiles are prepubescent children, so I feel like people are just so disproportionate. We are on those, like, spheres of the internet that are just, like, so... I don't know, it's just... It gets very online in these places. It gets very, very online. You know, I feel like an adult in the real world wouldn't really call this, like, a predatory situation. Just, like, probably a gross one that they wouldn't really condone.
And like I said, a lot of the stuff from Parlo's doc was meant to be cut, which has been, I think, publicly confirmed. This accusation was supposed to be one of them. As we all know, he switched positions, which, to be honest, this just feels like he kind of realized that his career is completely fucked, so he just wanted to take me down with him. Yeah, this entire claim is just bullshit, and it's a pathetic attempt to make me look bad. The only reason I feel like this is included is because Parlo doesn't fully believe in the whole sexual assault allegation, or else he wouldn't have needed to include this. It's like he realized that people didn't believe that I was like a rapist or a sexual assaulter. So naturally the next thing is, oh, I have to be a villain somehow, so now I just have to be a pedophile. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. Of all the false claims in this situation, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, it's like Parlo... Then again, like, Parlo does, like, run narratives in, like, the online predator economy. And it's like, I feel like inevitably Parlo was going to come crashing down one way or another, because Parlo's content is toxic, and Parlo's like content strategy is just taking down other people and virtue signaling over other people's allegations. So it was only a matter of time before Parlo was going to get his own allegations. And in a weird way, it's actually kind of poetic how Parlo like kind of fell, because Parlo fell by basically like being the subject of the content that he was constantly making for years. So, like, I kind of just, like, it's hard to feel bad for Parlo in this situation. I have a hard time feeling bad for him.
Most false. And, yeah, I feel like I've done a pretty adequate job of explaining why this is bullshit. But those are the real big accusations. Everything else from here on out is just kind of goofy shit, or shit that isn't really that big of a deal. So, this is the embarrassing part of the whole thing. let's get on to an accusation that's just flat out wrong. Zoophilia. Parlo is trying to argue that certain commissions of mine that I got when I was a furry makes me a zoophile.
Yeah, isn't just like you being it's like all it really boils down to is that you're a furry and that it was nothing like zoophilia related, right? That's pretty much what the whole allegation boils down to. Like even I knew, like, listen, I think furries are weird, personally. I don't quite get being a furry. I think it's weird. But just because I think something is weird, that doesn't inherently make it, like, the most worst predatory thing. Like, obviously, like, with the YMS situation where he was, like, trying to justify humans' ability to have sex with animals, that's, like, that's, like, textbook zoophilia. That's, like, about as zoophilia as you can get. Like, he literally thinks that zoophilia is totally fine. And he was, like, debate broing and pretty much, like, pretending to change his stance, like, multiple times. He's, like, a weird debate pervert about it. I don't know. Like, that's, like, what I would consider zoophilia, by definition. But being a furry, that's not quite the same thing because, like, people are wearing, like, fursuit costumes. It's, like, all human beings involved and they're consenting adults. It's, like, a fetish thing. I think it's weird. But just because somebody's a furry, doesn't mean I think that they are, like, some horrible predator.
I'm gonna need to simplify this for normies. This shit is really embarrassing. So, I've said before, do whatever the fuck you want in DMs. If it's two adults just being weird in DMs and it's not illegal shit, do whatever the fuck you want. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't really care. Just keep your shit out of the public eye. Unfortunately, Parlo decided to post every single facet of my life that he had publicly. He's posted my name. He's posted what I look like. He's posted my driver's license.
Wolfgang. He was 21, I was 20. Oh, no! Grooming! A 21-year-old grooming a 20-year-old? That's crazy. Damn. That means the chick I was dating earlier this year groomed the fuck out of me because she was a year older than I was. So I got groomed the fuck out of.
Did we need this information? No. We really didn't. But Parlo's schizophrenic, so he's going to do it anyway. One thing that Parlo brought up is because of some furry porn I commissioned, I'm a zoo. Alright, and I think it's pretty clear that I'm just a fucking bro. Like,
Whoa! What the fuck, man? You can't say that on YouTube. I cannot have that. Oh, dude, that's crazy. Those words are not appropriate unless you're dying in Apex Legends. Then you have every right to say those words.
I think that's pretty clear from the situation. So naturally, as a furry, I got a lot of commissions of shit that's supposed to be private. Did I get any porn that depicted animals or anything like that? Like a dog getting fucked or something? No. I got normal furry porn because I'm a queer. That's what I did. The reason Parlo is trying to call me a zoophile is because of the genitalia of some of the art pieces. I hate that I even have to explain this because this is just fucking so fucking cringe, but if you're a normie, this is weird. It's a very taboo thing when it comes to people who aren't.
Hey man, listen, I'm not a furry, so I'd be the wrong person to ask about this, but generally speaking, as long as everybody's within a reasonable age range or a legal consenting adult, I don't care. Even though I think it's weird, I don't care, ultimately.
Furries, obviously. But it is really just a cultural difference. In the furry community, this type of shit is just normal, but obviously to other people who are normal functioning adults, it's very taboo, and it can be misinterpreted as zoophilia. If you think it's a weird thing, I cannot take that away from you, and I'm not even going to attempt to. If you think it's weird, honestly, I can't say it's not weird. But it's not zoophilic. To say it is just kind of false. I've even seen streams where people are conflicted on if this is zoophilia or not. It's not. I do know what zoophilia is, obviously. I call people out for it all the time. But that's not to say that, like, that just automatically excuses me of the claim, but I'm saying I know where the line is. I know what is reprehensible, immoral artwork, and I know what's just weird. And this is just a weird thing. I wish that the shit I was into was not public, and I still don't really feel a need for this to be public, but I mean, it is what it is. Speaking of embarrassing shit that was made public for zero reason is my sexual health. Yeah, that's right. For some reason, Parlo decided to tell the entire internet what my sexual history was.
Oh yeah, where you were like hooking up with other people and you had like chlamydia. Yeah. So Parlo decided to just put that on blast. Yeah, that's very shitty.
And the
Yeah, it sucks, man. You know, like when you trust somebody, when you trust a partner, and then they just blast your shit online and blindside you like that, it sucks, dude. And like I've had that happen before. It's like really not fun to deal with. Because it's like, you know, that's shit that people should be dealing with in DMs, but instead people, like, weaponize it. Something that's meant to be between two people, and they weaponize it and try to make it seem, like, so much worse than it actually is, and they try to be uber deceptive with it. It's so, like, cringe and childish. It's a cringe and childish thing to do.
fact that I had an STD at one point. You may be asking if I had an STD when having sex with Parlo, which would make the claim justifiable to make public. I mean, to which you'd be wrong. It's actually something I told Parlo literally 4 days before I went to visit him, that I did not have an STD. The most I had was a mark on my body, but a doctor confirmed that it's probably just a skin irritation, and I went to a dermatologist like a week ago. They confirmed it's just something I'm supposed to have. It's not an STD. I did not have an STD when I had sex with Parlo. So why on earth is the fact that I had one like a year ago public? Who fucking knows? There was literally zero reason for this to be public. Another minor thing
I think Parlo, the narrative that Parlo was trying to run with is that, like, oh, internet adjacent had an STD, and he could have given me an STD, or he was trying to maliciously give me an STD. Whatever the case was, there was no reason for Parlo to bring it up. I think Parlo just did it just so it would make the narrative be in favor more for him.
Parlo brought up was hygiene, which, yeah, I'm going to talk about this a little bit. He tried to make it out like I'm just some gross and disgusting motherfucker. The thing that Parlo doesn't mention is that the instance he's talking about is the first day that I was in London. This was after I'd been on a plane for the past 2 consecutive days. Like, literally, I'd been on a plane for 22 hours. So, obviously, when I met them at the Airbnb, I would have smelled like shit. Parlo asks why I didn't buy shampoo at the airport, and that's because you were texting me about how you were fucking starving. It took me 22 hours to fly there, and then it would have taken me like another hour to get to the house. And when I got there and landed, you were telling me about how you were starving. So it still took me fucking forever to get there. I didn't want to stop on a fucking side quest because you were starving. You were telling me you were hungry. And I was actually denied from using Avalon shampoo at first. We were supposed to go to Tesco's the next day to get shampoo, but unfortunately we left the Airbnb to go into London before Tesco's opened, because it opens at like 10 a.m., but we left before that. It wasn't until that night at the Airbnb that Avalon said I could just use his stuff, because it was kind of clear due to our whole times that that would be impossible for me to get shampoo. So yeah, this whole accusation, as well as my sexual history, were, I mean, realistically only brought into this to try and humiliate me, which...
Yeah, and it seemed like Parlo was more interested in doing that, and it sucks. You know, because, like, there's a flip side to where Parlo could have actually, in theory, dominated the narrative. But, I mean, like, we're in commentary-adjacent spaces where people, I would say, are a little more caring for the truth as opposed to some other communities. Dead by Daylight community. But, like, in these commentary spaces, as much as I don't like them, they generally are a little better when it comes to fact stuff. They could be better about it, I think. I don't think they're perfect. I feel like a lot of these commentary spaces get very toxic very quickly, and they, like, rush to some of the worst narratives if there is, like, a form of some level of wrongdoing. So I feel like they could be a little bit better at it. But, you know, they're not the worst community that is, like, guilty of, like, running dominant with narratives. And if Internet Adjacent or Parlo were in spheres where people just didn't care about facts, I feel like there would be a level of anchor bias. Because what would have happened if anchor bias occurred? Where people believed Parlo, and regardless of what Internet Adjacent put out there, then people would have already, like, latched onto the label that Internet Adjacent was some horrific pedophile and, like, a fucking rapist or whatever.
Honestly kind of worked out in my favor, because that seems to be all people are talking about, which fine, I guess. I deserve my licks. And the same goes with the legend that is the Cinderella. Oh god, this, honestly, if there's one
The legend. I missed this in my first reaction video, but when I, like, rewatched the video on Papa Guts stream, I was like, oh, this is a fucking part of the story where they had, like, a Cinderella thing that they used as, like, a makeshift dildo. Oh, man. That's a kinky thing. I mean, like I said, as long as everybody is within a reasonable age range or a legal consenting adult, I don't care.
thing that's been talked about in the situation that's made me happy, it's this fucking thing, because this has just become a complete meme. I think everyone can collectively agree there was zero reason for that much detail to be poured into that alone. And I want to quickly say, by the way, I didn't name it that. That was just what it was called when I bought it at the store. Trust me, I wish I could take credit for that. I bought it because the name was funny, so I'm glad people are agreeing the name was funny. I wish I could take credit for it being named that. Trust me, I wish I could, but I unfortunately can't. To end the Cinderella segment off on something that's actually like important, that actually matters, when I was going through our DMs, I found this. I got all the gay stuff, and that toy you wanted me to bring. So, Parlo said I forced him to use a dildo, but he asked me to bring it. I mean, just look at what he was.
Parlo, yes, I got all the gay stuff, yada yada yada. I didn't even see before. Beautiful, Lou. Oh yeah, that's right, dude. Wait, I think we read this in the original, like in my original coverage of the video. I think we read this DM where Parlo literally deleted all of their responses to make it seem like they weren't consenting. But the reason I knew just by looking at the messages, look at Internet Adjacent's messages. 157, 1246, huge time gap. Huge time gap with like no messages in between, where Parlo deleted all their messages in between.
Saying, oh, hey, wait, hold on a second. These DMs look weird. It's almost like I had to use a third-party software to download my DMs with Parlo the millisecond I got home, because I figured he would end up deleting DMs. But that's ridiculous. It's not like Parlo has actually been deleting DMs, which is something we'll definitely not go more into later. And there's one.
Yeah, no, Parlo was deleting DMs to make it seem worse. Yeah, dude, Parlo's a fucking scumbag. Parlo is just like such a loser. Holy shit. If they're willing to like tamper with evidence in these sets of allegations, who fucking knows how much evidence they've tampered in any of their previous coverage of the quote-unquote predators that they claim to cover in any of their videos?
Last thing I want to address before moving on, and that's the whole suicide baiting claim. Parlo has put my struggling mental health on full blast for people's amusement. This is stuff that I really don't like to talk about publicly. I really don't like to talk in general about how I'm doing mentally. I like to keep that between very fucking close friends, because you guys don't really deserve to know about how I'm doing like that. One situation he brought up is the Anthrocon stuff last year, where the situation I was going through, I said that it was making me suicidal. While I didn't intend for it to be taken in a manipulative way, that was unfortunately the way it was taken. And after I was informed that people had a problem with me putting that out into the ether, I have taken great strides to not repeat that mistake. That is why throughout the entire course of this situation, my mental health has been my own thing. I've not talked to literally anyone apart from one person about how I've been feeling throughout this, because I don't want to repeat the same mistake. I don't want to do the same thing. I don't want people to feel like I'm manipulating them. I don't want to feel like I'm doing that to anyone. I think that's shitty. People talk about learning and growing, and during the situation, I really haven't brought my mental health up once. I really could have, but I didn't want a repeat of last time. It was shitty of me to do back then, and I learned from my mistakes, and I have taken great strides to not repeat.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good, but also, like, I'm not really... It was never meant to be public anyways, so it's like one of those things where it's just like, oh, hey, you know, just do better. That's all. You know, like, I've struggled with mental health in the past, and this kind of has me, like, reflecting on my own series of allegations that I got a while back, where my accuser pretty much put a lot of my mental health struggles on blast. I didn't act perfectly. You know, I definitely was a little dependent on my accuser at times for mental health stuff a lot, and I shouldn't have been at all whatsoever. That was a very shitty thing of me to do to them. But I feel like a lot of it was just so exaggerated. A lot of it was just, like, claims of, like, you know, hey, you know, I emotionally abused them and stuff. No, that's not... Like, abuse is, like, to control your partner to get them to do things for you. That's not what that was. That was, like, it was just very toxic of me. That was wrong of me. It's still wrong either way. But the narrative and the connotations attached to it were really fucking just, like, blown out of proportion. You know, some of the stuff I did was not good. I'm not proud of the way I engaged with a lot of it, but it's still, like, I don't know, people are just so fucking, like, silly when it comes to online narratives. It's, you know, I feel like a lot of people are just not really mature to talk about a lot of these issues. Like, I generally don't put mental health online anyways either, because I hate people seeing me in that state anyways. I hate people seeing all my mental health struggles online. Like, generally speaking, close people in my life know about mental health struggles. Generally speaking, only close people know about that stuff. I don't put it on blast for viewers to see. I don't put it on blast for in like any content creation sphere as to the best of my ability. It sucks when people weaponize it and make it seem like very like malicious, right? So I do kind of sympathize with internet adjacent. It's not good. Like, it seems like the general claim is that like internet adjacent might have been suicide baiting people. I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it was like the suicide baiting. I wouldn't go that far, but that maybe like the sharing could be a little bit like inopportune. You know what I mean? Like, maybe internet adjacent has to be even more careful. They just weren't careful enough when it comes to like sharing their mental health online. So, it's just one of those things where it's like, do better, but it's not life ruining. It's nothing like super heinous that I'm seeing from internet adjacent.
It was shitty back then, and I apologize for bringing up my mental health in a situation like that, and for having people feel like I was manipulating them. But
you want my honest advice? And I think internet adjacent is gonna do this after this video. My honest advice is I just wouldn't respond to any of this anymore. Like, I feel like this video pretty much just has everything that you need to like talk about everything, and then just like never address it ever again. Like, don't ever talk about it. It's just like not worth it.
I definitely learned from that, and I will not repeat the same mistake, just like I have not now. But the whole suicide baiting thing is just ironic, considering literally days ago he went on Dicker's stream and suicide baited.
Leave and come back. Now I've seen that that is impossible, and can't say, but a lot of people have fucking blood on their hands now. But yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
It's a pattern that we're going to see, that Parlo's just a complete hypocrite.
When he says a lot of people have blood on their hands, was he's like implicating like that he might commit suicide? Was that like the implication behind his words? He was like saying, a lot of people are going to have blood on their hands or something. Was that what he was saying? Because I'm not going to watch Dicker's stream. It's like 4 hours long. Listen, I generally think Dickers is not a bad guy. I disagree with him on a lot of things. But like, generally speaking, I think Dickers is like a generally good faith person that tries to look at stuff like in a very... he tries to look at everything, and I can respect that about him. But like, I'm not gonna watch 4 hours. Like, that's a little too much. I have other shit I want to get to. But yeah. I mean, if that's the implication of what Parlo is saying, I mean, that's really... oh my god. Okay.
Parlo.
It's just very shitty. It's like, it seems like Parlo is just like being super vindictive throughout this. I still, to this day, if someone could leave it in the comments below, anyone watching this, if anyone has like a potential motive for why Parlo wanted to do all of this, why Parlo was so desperate to control the narrative, like, let me know, because it's still not clicking to me. I don't get it. Like, why did Parlo want to control the narrative so badly?
I guess I should talk about this briefly. The GoFundMe thing. Now, this is probably the biggest point of contention against Parlo. Obviously, he's publicly apologizing and issuing refunds for everything and how everything went down and having his fans feel like he scammed them. Well, I wasn't going to show this off because if he was taking accountability, I guess whatever. But I think it's important to show what he said the night before it was made public. Your GoFundMe point was horrendous. No, that's actually a banger point. Like classic deflection level straw grabbing. No, it was genuinely horrible, and commentary people agreed in private. So yeah, he knew 24 hours before that this claim was going to be made public, and him and certain creators he was talking to thought it was stupid. It's crazy now he's changed his tune, and how these same creators are publicly bashing him for it, but that's just me. By the way, I will say, I don't have evidence, so I'm not going to name names, but I was told every single person he talked to about this, and I know every single person who said this claim was stupid. Boy, did they fucking change their stances really quickly. That's all I'll say. The last thing I can address is an absolutely fucking wild one. I am accused of being a Nazi, despite having one...
Hey, man. Sometimes people just go down that pipeline. To be fair, like, people, like, get Nazi allegations, like, all the fucking time online. Especially in, like, Twitter spaces. Although some of them are valid. You have people like Sam Hyde running around who's, like, a legitimate white supremacist.
One of the craziest gay sex leaks online.
Like, if someone called Sam Hyde a Nazi, I really don't think that's disproportionate. I mean, he hates Jewish people. He's a white supremacist. And he is, like, totally... He's a total white nationalist. And it's like, I'm very sick and tired of people pretending like he's not. Like, people use jokes to communicate how they feel about stuff all the time.
This accusation stems from the fact that I have a game on my Steam library called Furry Dictator.
Oh no. Wait, is that really the basis of the allegations? That you have a game called Dictator? I guess by that logic, anyone who owns GTA 5 is a mass fucking genocider because people kill civilians in that game. They've committed war crimes. If you own GTA 5, you committed a war crime. I guess that's where the basis of the allegation is at this point. We're really scraping bottom of the barrel in these terminally online spaces.
I said this in a past video, and I'll say it here again. This was going to be for a video that never ended up coming out back when I was making furry content. I don't have the game installed, and not only that, I have literally 0 seconds in the game. So yeah, this accusation too is just entirely bullshit. But with that, we've reached the end of the main accusation segment. Now onto the Anthrocon stuff. So the Anthrocon thing, a situation that had long since been dead but was dug out of the grave to try and use against me. It's a situation that, just like this one, is very easily debunkable because it's incredibly similar. This is a situation of someone trying to use their body language instead of their fucking words to tell me how they feel. At the Airbnb at this convention I was attending with some people, one of them told me they were down to hook up, so I began to rub their knee. They then tried to spin this into me sexually assaulting them, which is just fucking retarded.
Whoa! That's terrible. Don't use words. But, yeah, if this situation has already been dealt with, so... I mean, there's not really much I can say about this situation. If it's already been dealt with, it's already been dealt with, right? It just seems like Parlo just wants more ammunition to try to make sure Internet Adjacent gets off the internet and Parlo control the narrative, which I still don't understand why Parlo wanted to control the narrative and, like, make this public to begin with.
And then instead of just letting me down, they constantly told me that they just wanted to have sex later instead of just telling me that they were no longer interested. And like Parlo, they tried to use their body language to tell me they weren't interested instead of just literally just say so. Like I said earlier, I struggle to pick up on body language like this. I went through the fucking ringer and absolute hell to debunk and disprove the situation, and that is why the situation hasn't been talked about in a while. But Parlo decided to interject a situation he has basically 0 knowledge of to try and use that against me, even when back then people were dropping the situation because it sounded like an awkward hookup, which is exactly what it was. There's 0 evidence for either side, so this too is just a he said, she said. Now we've reached the part about all the actual genuine errors I made in this situation. That's right. Despite everything seriously career-destroying being as flat as paper, I did still make errors in my handling of this. One thing I did that was shitty was I sent a photo of me and Parlo making out to a mutual friend after he threw these accusations at me. It was a thing I did in a panic, but obviously that does not matter. It was a shitty thing to do regardless.
I mean, what was the context of you sending it to begin with? Okay, so this is you making out. This was an hour ago. I don't know what that is. We were making out. Ah, I see. Yixilo and Parlo are mad at me. I don't know why. So you just sent a photo of you guys making out. I mean, I don't know why you would need to send a photo of you guys making out to begin with. Did you want it to prove that maybe you guys, like, were there in person? I don't know the context of this.
I did in a panic, but obviously ultimately the only one responsible, and it's something I have apologized to Parlo for live, in DMs, and I even did it in a private VC the next day. I will say that while this is something I genuinely apologize for, it's really cringe. As mentioned previously, Parlo posted my name, what I look like, part of my driver's license, and my sexual history for the internet to just...
Yeah, I mean, like, literally posting these pieces of information online is much worse than, like, sending a DM of 2 people making out, which is, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's weird, but even then, I'm looking at it and I just don't know what to do with it, because it's like, I don't know the context of it.
Just enjoy, and none of that is relevant, so while when I did it, it was bad, I'm definitely going to say Parlo did far worse. Another thing I did was I deleted one of the DMs I had with a friend about this whole situation, back about the whole, like, 3rd day during the sex thing where Parlo said I was trying to peer pressure him. Ironically enough, had I not done this, I would have completely exonerated myself of some of the shit being said about me. Once again, there really isn't a justification for this, and even though I did it in a panic, it was still ultimately something I did of my own accord, and it's something I genuinely apologize for. But, as I alluded to earlier, would you guys be surprised if Parlo is doing the same fucking thing?
Not really. I mean, it seems to be like a reoccurring pattern in this story where Parlo will, like, give a criticism and then they'll be guilty of it themselves.
I'm apologizing for deleting one single DM in this entire instance. I was generous and said there could potentially be another instance of me deleting a DM. As far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any proven instances of that, so this is literally the only documented instance we have of that. Well, when I went to my DMs with Parlo to get stuff for this video, I discovered Parlo had been deleting entire conversations worth of DMs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I noticed this even in my first coverage of it. I was like, I noticed that there's like a huge time interval between these messages. I'm like, wait a minute, this message was sent at this time. This message was also sent at this time. Parlo's literally deleting evidence. I noticed it, and it seems like they've been deleting like pretty much the entire conversation to say that you can't use this against me.
And as I highlighted earlier, some of these actually change the entire situation around how some of these accusations look. Trust me, there's a lot of things here that he deleted which make him look bad. So while the one DM I deleted was bad, I'd argue the amount that he's deleted is kind of worse. Another big...
Wait, say that again?
So while the one DM I deleted was bad, I'd argue the amount that he's deleted is kind of worse. Another big...
I guess. I don't know. I'm not really concerned with you deleting, like, a message that I guess you thought was embarrassing versus Parlo knowing that he consented to something and he wanted to run a narrative about a false sexual assault allegation and deleted evidence of him actually consenting to any of these sex acts. I feel like the context of Parlo deleting evidence on his side, much worse than Internet Adjacent deleting, like, an embarrassing message or whatever. It's like, that's pretty much what that really comes down to.
Fuck up I had was when this situation happened, I went and asked drama YouTubers their perspectives on this whole thing to figure out the optics and if I was fucked or not. Obviously, doing this only made it spread and a whole... And while a lot of people...
just to be clear, this is why I don't talk to any commentary YouTubers, or I don't like hang out in any commentary YouTuber adjacent spaces, because those spaces are toxic. You know, I used to be around those spaces back before I got into Dead by Daylight. I think around like COVID. And like maybe 2019, I like hung around those like commentary spaces, but those spaces are very toxic and they're very like black and white. That's why I just don't think it's like productive to like engage with these commentary YouTubers whatsoever.
People told me I should just talk to lawyers instead. I didn't think the situation was that serious, and I still don't think the situation is serious enough to involve lawyers. But I shouldn't have gone and talked to other people about it. I should have kept it to myself. That's my mistake. This is something I have actually apologized to the people involved for. I had a conversation with Avalon behind the scenes where I apologized for speaking to those people. And it's just something I want to apologize for again. I didn't really see a problem with it, but after a lot of people have explained to me why it was wrong, I fucked up. I'm sorry. To end this video off, this situation went from a funny, haha, look at this retard, he fucked Parlo, to...
Whoa! Bad word.
People genuinely lying about me and trying to cancel me. This could have genuinely just been a funny drama, but instead people tried to maliciously use this to try and ruin my career. When it came to the situation, I said I was going to respond and debunk everything that mattered, and all I asked for was a little bit of patience, something I was not granted. Instead,
that sucks. I mean, yeah, I tried to take the time to respond to every single claim in mine. I took like 2.5 weeks to respond to my allegations, but it didn't matter because people already believed one side of it. They already believed a narrative from it. It didn't matter. And plus, it's fucking Twitter, man. Like, Twitter is, like, very toxic. Like, Twitter is, like, one of the most toxic social media platforms out there. It's like, all the nuance on Twitter is just removed. They don't care. They don't care. Like, if a 19-year-old talks to a 17-year-old on Twitter, it's fucking World War III there. And people don't care. Like, nobody... I actually feel like a majority of people don't actually care about children, like, being in danger. I actually feel like they don't actually care about social issues. It's just that if they can look good out of it and optically feel good in doing it, then it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't really... You know, they don't care. You know, a majority of people on the internet don't care when they actually, like, talk about social issues or they actually, like, try to talk about these issues. It's like, it's just, that's a majority of shit that just happens online.
People went with and ran with absolutely crazy stories with zero evidence. It's a little gross, to be honest, especially since to a lot of people, I told them they could talk to me if they had questions. But still, people went and called me a pedophile with baseless accusations. I was originally going to take a month or two off, but honestly, I've kind of had people tell me just to return after this video comes out, so I'll give Jerry another video or two, and then I'll be back as the host, because I've really taken time to just reflect on this self and reflect on me. I mean, I definitely got some things I got to work on, but this situation is more of a bullet to Parlo's career than mine. Obviously, this isn't going to...
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Parlo is basically, like, done and over with. Like, Parlo tried to falsely accuse someone of sexual assault. I mean, I don't think Parlo is, like, irredeemable. I think Parlo could actually rehabilitate, potentially. But I feel like that's going to take, like, years of just being off the internet. Like, Parlo just needs to go offline and stop being terminally online. And actually, like, maybe if Parlo ever wants to get into content creation again, I feel like Parlo should just focus on being more productive instead of just, like, doing toxic, you know, this guy's a predator because they were a fucking 18-year-old talking to a 17-year-old or some dumb shit like that. I just, like, I don't care. It's like, children are attracted to those kinds of videos. Children like those kinds of videos to, like, bash on somebody and, like, villainize somebody, but it's really just, like, it's not, like, just, like, chill out. All right, like, go offline, maybe socialize in the real world, maybe stop fucking, like, trying to get your morality online, maybe mature a little bit. And maybe in years' time, maybe you'll change enough to the point where you'll be able to create content again, and maybe you'll be able to rehabilitate in society. But right now, you gotta be offline. Like, Parlo just needs to be offline completely.
Convince everyone, but if I provide enough evidence for claims and you just refuse to believe some, I can't help you. I have messed up during the situation, but to a funny degree, honestly, not to like a malicious degree, like what everyone is saying. This situation completely spiraled, and I think I've made it clear that a lot of this just genuinely seems malicious and that people wanted me gone more than actually hearing me out, but that's just me. And one last thing.
Yeah, I feel that. A lot of it is more optics-based than anything. Like, optically, it looks bad to hang out with somebody. Like, literally, in a lot of these spaces, it's just optics. It's not about morality. It's optics. That's really it. Like, it's just how does the public view it? Or how does the community view this one thing? It's not about what's actually good in these spaces. Like, rarely is it ever about what's actually good.
I want to address Parlo directly because I know you're watching this video. Even after this whole situation happened, I still was trying to help you out. I was in DMs trying to figure out a collective response that the two of us could work on to save both of our careers. I genuinely gave a shit about you when everyone else didn't, when everyone else was warning me to just dip out on you, that you were complete schizo, that you were going to fucking crash out, that you were going to stab me in the back. And I should have listened. I don't know why I didn't. I think you are completely hopeless, and I know people have been telling him to get off the internet. Trust me, I've been saying it even as the situation has started. The reality is, this guy has nothing else. I mean, he's poor, he's homeless, and God knows he can't get a job. This is really all he has, and if he can't have that, he's going to try to bring...
This is going to be, like, a huge defining period for Parlo. I think Parlo just needs to, like, fucking find something, because, like, if he can't rely on YouTube as a job, then how the fuck is he going to live in the real world? He has to. Like, he has to figure out a way to, like, fight and, like, look for a job in the real world, because it's not like people know his real face, right? People are going to forget over time. Parlo's still, like, 20. Parlo's still, like, a baby as far as I'm concerned. So, like, years are going to pass. Parlo's voice is going to deepen a little bit. They're going to interact with people, and they're going to hopefully get a job eventually, even if they can't get one right now. And just, like, fucking... just, like, be productive, you know? Like, try to be more productive instead of doing what the content it is you have been doing.
People down with it. The most I can say is just ignore this guy. Treat him like a circus animal, honestly. If people have questions, if people want to talk to me, you can join my Discord. My DMs are open. Like I said, the one thing I can say before I end this off is I genuinely tried to help Parlo out. A lot of people told me he was a schizo lolcow, but I wasn't around for a lot of the shit that got him that title, and I felt like it was unfair of me to label him as such.
To be honest, I don't even keep up with Parlo spaces to even know that he earned that title.
And I mean, until this situation happened, my interactions with him were nice, and I thought he was on a little bit of a redemption arc, so I thought people just did the typical internet thing of making someone out to be worse than they actually are. Through this situation, it's become abundantly clear that I was just wrong, and this guy is genuinely a lost cause. Ironically enough, we talked about STDs, but it seems the only STD that was transferred during our sexual encounters was the lolcow gene. I have a
okay
pretty lax view when it comes to online shit, and I try to be chill and get along with everyone, but as I've been told by people, it's just kind of a detriment to me, so going forward, I'm really not going to try to befriend any of these people. I just see people as associates from now on. Parlo, what?
That's probably the best way to view it. That's actually, like, I think overall, like, this situation, I know it really sucks for Internet Adjacent, and I know it really sucks that he has to deal with all this shit, but I actually overall think that this could be, like, a necessary growing pain for Internet Adjacent to realize that, like, being quote-unquote friends with content creators is, like, I would say it's near impossible. Because, like, generally speaking, when something goes south, when you have a situation on your hands, when you are the face of controversy, who the fuck is going to be there to stick up for you? Probably nobody. Because, like, at the end of the day, a lot of content creator spaces are about optics to some degree. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't care about optics. I'm sure that, like optics should matter to some capacity. But, like, a lot of these people take optics way more than what's actually right about the situation. Like, that's how it was in a lot of my content creator spaces that I was in. When I was on Twitch. So, like, generally speaking, like, I would say having content creator friends is tough because they're not going to be there for you when shit goes wrong.
Wasn't the first, but he is the last. I think it's just easier to deal with. I guess the most I can do is apologize to people for ever giving this guy any of my time, or treating him like a human being instead of a circus animal. I should have listened to what people said, and I have no one to blame but myself. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for listening. I'll be back in a month or two, so be nice to Jerry, and I don't know, later.
Alright, well, I mean, that's about as good of a response as Internet Adjacent can make. My advice to you, I've said it before in this video, but just don't respond to this anymore. You know, come back whenever you're ready to, and just keep doing your thing, Internet Adjacent. It's really not that... Like, honestly, I feel like you're better in this situation than Parlo was.